around again. One more time. There we go. Nice. You are officially the only man to drift A, an electric car, and B, underneath a Boeing 717 on final approach to Atlanta Airport. Would we agree that this is a pre-production prototype of a Taycan?
Yes.
But what's funny is, even though you are German, you are the engineer that worked on the all-wheel drive system of this car.
Yes.
But what car do you personally have at home in Germany?
I do have a old Corvette.
What year?
76.
So you have a nice C3, which I have proven you do. You showed me pictures of it. You even let your friend use it as his wedding car.
Yeah, I did.
So what is the purpose of this drive right now? What are we trying to demonstrate?
Well, we show you pretty much every feature of the car, the chassis development, all the systems, traction control, stability control, the torque vectoring of the car, how balanced it is, and also, of course, like the acceleration, launch control.
So important to understand, you're running all of the all-wheel drive development of this car.
Yes.
And the car, is it a Turbo or a Turbo S?
This is a Turbo S.
So this has got the most power.
It's the top model, yeah.
And what cars were you working on in Porsche previously? Because you've been with Porsche a couple of years now.
Yeah, I worked for the Panamera project.
Yes, sir.
A couple of years, and from the beginning of the Taycan, shall we just enhance the speed?
I think we should enhance the speed.
We go for it?
The goal here is we want to make one entire lap not going straight. The car needs to go sideways. Because I'm sending this to Vaughn Gates Jr. and Yoshihara, who does teach at the PEC in LA.
All right, then.
Probably wasn't a good idea to have lunch just before this. Nice! That was great. And this is an electric car we're doing this with. Did you get an advantage by having the electric motor in the front that give you some additional weight to play around with over the front axle?
Well, the weight balance of the car is pretty perfect, so it's pretty much 50-50, 49-51. We do have the lowest center of gravity of all our production cars.
Even over a GT3?
It's lower than a Carrera GT3, yeah.
What's the challenge in synchronizing a system? Like in the front, it's direct to the wheels. There isn't a transmission. In the back, it's a 2-speed transmission.
Yeah.
What's the challenge in synchronizing those two?
You need to know how the connection in between the front and the rear works, because you're limited in power in every of the electric motors. So if the rear or the front is coming to a limit, you also need to limit the other axle to just make sure the balance of the car is correct. And this is what we do only in the PSM off, so in the stability control turned off, that we limit the other axle if one axle is coming to a limit of power and torque.
And what was the logic of putting a 2-speed system in the back as opposed to a planetary gear set in the front?
We do have the best, I think, best acceleration and top speed, which also comes through the 2-speed gearbox in the rear. So the car is running 260 kilometers per hour top speed and is accelerating in 2.8 seconds to 100, 2.6 seconds 0 to 60 miles an hour.
And how long are you staying in that first gear in the back? I gather that's just for under high load acceleration.
It depends on the drive mode you're in, but we shift under 100 kilometers an hour to make sure the acceleration is the quickest. So we jump through the 100 kilometers per hour mark by shifting. We're in Sport Plus now, so we have 2 modes of recuperation, which you can adjust here in this button on the steering wheel. So now recuperation is pretty much off just by releasing the throttle, and now on. There's not the big difference, but this is the maximum recuperation. But this is not what I think is impressive. The impressive thing is we do recuperate by the brake pedal. So when I brake like a regular braking, we always put energy back into the battery and even in the ABS. So even if I really brake hard, like on racetracks, we do recuperate energy back into the battery. We are the only ones who really recuperate until the limit, until the ABS, and we can do fully electric brake, 0.39 G, and 265 kilowatts. This is way more than every other, and I show you now. This is a fully electric braking. You see it here in the green bar. Fully electric. There's no hydraulic brake, and it's you don't feel the difference between a regular braking or an electric braking.
Did you have to engineer in pedal feel to do that?
This is like a simulator, so you don't feel the difference between regular braking and electric braking. The car does it by itself, and it's just regular driving. You have that regular brake pedal like I do have in my old Corvette, and the car just blends itself and decides itself if it recuperates or not. Shall we do a launch control?
I think we should definitely try a launch control.
Of course we do.
We have an audience. So the PEC, the Porsche Experience Center, is technically open right now. So the people who are here for the morning session, they're having lunch. They just left their lunch and they're standing on the balcony watching us do this. Like, what kind of car is that?
Yeah, exactly. So like in a regular car, left foot on the brake, right foot on the throttle. Okay. It says launch control active, and wait for it.
Santa Maria Madre de Dios! You should have given me a heads up, man. That hurt my neck. I'm gonna have my lawyer call you. Nice. We gotta go around again. We gotta show off. Gotta go around again. One more time. There we go. Nice. You are officially the only man to drift an electric car and B, underneath a Boeing 717 on final approach to Atlanta Airport. Oh man, I can smell our fresh tires.
Yeah, we have hot tires now, so it's a little bit funny to drive now.
But now this man, he's being very, I think you're being very modest because you have a unique record at Porsche of going through tires. You were testing a Panamera, but you weren't specifically testing the tires. You were testing the transmission.
The transmission,
correct?
Yeah, correct.
And what is your high water mark? What was most sets of tires that you went through?
It were over 30 sets of tires actually. Yeah, over 30 in a week.
How much of this was the tire manufacturers? You were telling me that you work very closely with the tire manufacturers.
Yeah.
What was done differently here for this propulsion system?
Well, in an electric car, it's very hard to develop a tire which also is good in like efficiency and rolling resistance, and also a sport tire.
Dude. Those people go, that's an on-ramp to the 75, and we are going straight at them.
It's hard to get this trade-off in between rolling resistance, efficiency, and also like grip and traction, and just a sport tire. And here in this 21-inch performance wheel and tire, I think we find the right balance in between. It's hard to talk by driving that fast. Yeah, I think we find a good balance in between, and we do have a efficiency label C on this performance tire, and we do have distance tires with performance label B.
Oh, beautiful. Important point here. The propulsion system is different. It looks to me like you have re-engineered the car from the ground up, but you still layer on like PASM, the 3-chamber air ride, and not like it's optional to get the carbon ceramic rotors, from what I understand.
Yeah.
What was the challenge in bringing in previous tools of Porsche dynamics into this propulsion system, or platform, shall we say?
Yeah, it's true. We use some systems out of the MQB platform, the rear axle steering. We also do have an air suspension with 3 chambers, which is a little bit different to the Panamera because we just didn't fit it into our front axle.
Okay.
So we adjusted this a little bit and
Is it a
developed
completely
it.
different housing?
I think so, yes. Because of the height, I think the S-springs would have looked out of the body if we wouldn't have adjusted it.
Yeah.
We use the rear axle steering. We use a differential lock, which is different to the Panamera. Actually, it's electric adjusted and not hydraulic. What else do we have? We have the PDV Plus torque vectoring by the brakes, of course. We have the front axle steering, the EPS, with our own developed controller.
Would it be fair to say that the C3 Corvette had a hand in the development of the Taycan?
I don't think so. And it's way more fun driving this guy, actually.
Sir, well, vielen Dank.
Sehr, sehr gerne. Sehr, sehr gerne.